The cold lights of the arena reflected on the face of a man who seemed to have fought not only against opponents, but against destiny itself. His broad shoulders carried invisible scars, accumulated through nearly 300 battles. He was never the fastest, nor the strongest. But there was something uncanny about him, a resistance almost supernatural, a gift for slipping away, surviving, staying on his feet when so many others fell. They called him Battling Levinsky, but his real name was Barney Lebowitz, the son of poor Jewish immigrants in Philadelphia. A boy who shined shoes on street corners, sold newspapers to keep food on the table, and hid from his parents the secret of his late-night fights in smoky clubs, where the smell of sweat and blood mixed with the roar of the crowd. This is the story of an unlikely champion, a man who fought more against time and life itself than against any rival in the ring. This is the story of Battling Levinsky. Barney Lebowitz was born on June 10, 1890, in a cramped Philadelphia home that barely sheltered his parents and 7 siblings. His father, Samuel, was a tailor, hand-skilled with fabric, but too fragile to feed so many mouths. His mother, Lena, carried the exhaustion of an immigrant who had crossed the ocean for a better life, only to find new struggles. From an early age, Barney learned that every coin counted. He shined shoes, ran through the streets selling newspapers, his pockets always empty but his mind filled with dreams he dared not confess. In the smoky clubs of Philadelphia, still just a teenager, he discovered another path, boxing. At first he fought under the name Barney Williams, as if to hide his identity and spare his family the shame of backroom brawls. At night, he traded his vendor's apron for worn-out boxing trunks. Through poorly paid bouts and noisy audiences, he shaped the style that would define his career, not fury, but defense, the art of not being hit. While most young fighters chased the glory of knockouts, Barney discovered another way to win, by exhausting his opponents, sliding to the sides, turning each round into a dance of evasions. It wasn't a spectacle for the impatient, but it was survival, and survival was what he knew best. By 1909, fighting under the name Battling Levinsky, he began to draw attention in small circuits. His life changed when he met Dan Morgan, the eccentric, stuttering manager nicknamed Dumb Dan. Morgan saw what others missed, not just a fighter, but a machine of endurance. "He doesn't knock anyone out," Morgan would say, "but he doesn't get knocked out either." Under Morgan's guidance, Levinsky became the workhorse of the ring. He fought nearly every week, sometimes 3 times a month. Each bout was a paycheck to support his family, each round another bill paid. In an age when boxing could launch men to quick fame or swallow them in obscurity, Levinsky chose consistency. One step at a time, one fight at a time. The 1910s were an era of giants. Fighters like Jack Dillon, Georges Carpentier, and Tommy Gibbons were respected and feared. Many who stood before them crumbled. But Levinsky, with his defensive brilliance, aimed not to dazzle but to endure. He would fight on a Friday night in one city and climb into another ring the following Monday. He seemed tireless. While his rivals destroyed themselves in bloody wars, Levinsky preserved his body with patience and strategy, extending his career far beyond expectations. In 1916, after years of frustrating opponents and perfecting his craft, Battling Levinsky achieved the impossible for the poor boy from Philadelphia. He defeated Jack Dillon and claimed the world light heavyweight title. It wasn't a victory of thunderous punches, but of patience. Round after round, Levinsky showed that persistence could be its own kind of greatness. As champion, Levinsky stayed true to himself. Between 1916 and 1920, he defended the light heavyweight crown dozens of times, sometimes with only weeks between fights. He wasn't dazzling in the eyes of the crowd, but he was reliable, always ready to climb back into the ring. His greatest trial came in 1920 against Georges Carpentier, the French idol who embodied elegance, charisma, and destructive power. The fight was more than a contest of men, it was a clash of philosophies, spectacle versus pragmatism. Carpentier triumphed, taking the title, but Levinsky walked away as calm as ever, knowing his story was bigger than belts. Even without the crown, Levinsky pressed forward. He faced rising prospects, faded veterans, and even future legends like Gene Tunney. Rarely was he the favorite, but always he was the test, the man who measured others' patience and skill. But time remains undefeated. His reflexes slowed, his once endless stamina began to fade, and the hunger of younger men reminded him of his own past. By the time he retired in 1928, Levinsky had fought more than 250 recorded bouts, and likely many more lost to history. Yet the money was gone, spent or vanished, and fame never embraced him like it did other champions. In the years that followed, he slipped quietly into obscurity. He lived from odd jobs and memories that only the oldest fans still cherished. The crowds had forgotten his name, and yet his mark endures. Battling Levinsky is not remembered for spectacular knockouts or glorious triumphs. He is remembered as the working man of the ring, the fighter who proved that survival itself can be a form of greatness. His legacy is not brilliance, but endurance. He was the champion who outlasted